Hi everyone, this is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. Welcome to another live stream. In this live stream, we're going to be talking about how and why and when to incorporate light and shade into your artwork. Ooh, that's loud. Jeez. Okay. Welcome everybody. Yeah, it is Monday morning. I'm a couple minutes late, but we're here now, and I love it if you're here with me. Let me know how everything sounds with the video, with the stream. Let me know how you're doing, and I think you're going to learn a lot today. We've talked about light and shade so much on this channel, and I think light and shade is one of the most important things. So for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Matt, like I mentioned in the beginning, and I've been teaching at the School of Visual Arts now since 1997, so I'm thinking that's almost 28 years or something like that. I'm not even sure anymore. Like when you get this old, like you lose track of shit. So yeah, absolutely. So I've been teaching at the School of Visual Arts for 28 years. I'm currently teaching in the animation department, which I absolutely love. And if you are thinking about going to art school, the animation department, I'm just double checking something here, people. The animation department at the School of Visual Arts is just like top notch, and I absolutely love teaching there. I think you get the most diverse education there because you're learning traditional figure drawing, you're learning digitally, you're learning everything, and it's just really a great department. And yes. So, and I've been teaching online as well, like forever. So, what's this video all about? So, this video is all about really the 3 reasons why you should consider using light and shade in your drawings. Now, why is this even a topic? Like, why am I even talking about this? Doesn't everyone like draw with light and shade? Well, the answer to that is absolutely no. There are a lot of teachers who don't believe in light and shade, and I'm not knocking them. Like, everybody has their thing, and I think there needs to be teachers that teach diversely with all different strategies and methods to learn how to draw. But I've just been teaching in the classroom for 28 years, and I just see what works. And really, what works is when you incorporate even a little bit of light and shadow into your artwork, like your drawings just they just get better. Like they're more dynamic. And so the 3 reasons why I feel that you should always incorporate a little bit of light and shade in your drawings, even if it's a short duration drawing, is number 1. What I've noticed with my students in the classroom is that students just see the proportions of the figure better when they use a little bit of light and shade. Secondly, I just feel like your drawings will look so much more dynamic if you incorporate a little bit of light and shade, not just line alone. I just think it's so important. And then the other 3rd element, that the reason why, oh boy, it's Monday morning. My sentences are horrendous. Another reason why I think it's so valuable for you to just use a little bit of light and shade in your drawing is this is truly, I think, the most important reason is because of you need value diversity in your artwork, meaning I just think it's really important to have a dark, a middle tone, and a light. And yes, you can do that with line. And yes, I do teach that in my line class. But man, shapes are really what make the world go round. And I can give a gazillion more reasons why you should incorporate light and shade in your drawings, even the short ones, and we can be here all day, and you can be listening to me talk about all these reasons. But let's dive into Photoshop. Let me share with you a couple of drawings, and let me share with you the drawing that the photo reference that we're going to be drawing here today, and why we're going to be using this. And then we'll get to drawing, because I know me talking Monday morning, or for some of you it might be Monday in the evening. It isn't the most exciting thing for you to watch me draw. So let's do this. Let me just switch. And oh gosh, where is my software? Where did we go? Oh, it's right in front of my face. Here we go. So let me just move this sucker over here. And Yes, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go to my screen. Awesome. Awesome. And I would like to go to Photoshop. That would be more often awesome. Okay. So, yes, Cintiq pen. Okay. So, what you see right now on the screen are two photos of the same statue. Okay. And the statue that is on our left on your screen, I think that's the better photo to draw from. Now, okay, so we're talking about photos, and if you're new to drawing, and if you're new to my channel here, Drawing Tutorials Online, basically, I critique a lot of artwork for my students online as well as the students in the classroom. And if I had to, let me grab a brush here. Let me grab a pointer. Yeah, let's just go with the happy HP. Okay, how are we doing with this? Let's get the color white, the value white, I should say. Now, listen, if I'm gonna tell my students which is a better photo for them to draw from, I'm gonna say all day long that photo number one is the better photo to draw from. And the reason why this photo is the better photo to draw from, if you are beginning your journey learning how to draw traditionally, is because of this thing right over here. This is called a shadow shape, people. It is a shadow, and on the arm is a cast shadow. And we can label those cast shadow, shadow. And I just think it's easier to draw when you see these shadows. What we are going to be drawing this morning, momentarily, when I'm done talking and showing you a couple of other things here on my screen, is we are going to start drawing this line that separates the light from the shadow. And I just see like a light up in my students' eyes. I'm not going to go all the way down the body. Well, we'll go down to the hand. Okay. I see a light up in my students' eyes when they draw this in the classroom for the first time. That line that separates the light from the shadow. And then they start to shade the shadow. And they look at me and they're like, oh, I could draw. Holy shit. I remember how to draw. And it's because they are drawing with shapes versus if they're drawing just with an outline. Now, I'm drawing basically, this is the shadow. On the neck is the cast shadow, and you've got to understand the two. Now, listen, I get you people. You're watching me on YouTube, and you're probably like, oh my God, that is so small. But yes, that is important. Let me just, I'm good. I'm good. Now, when we look at this photo, the one on the right, now that photo, does it have some light and shadow? Yes. Is it as harsh on the photo on the left? No, it is not. To the layperson, the photo on the right kind of just looks flat, like it has no light and shade. And it's so much difficult to draw that photo number 2 on the right than it is to draw photo number 1 on the left. Now, when I look at it, I could see from the elbow down and all the way over here into that hand that is a shadow. And I can see on the hip of the statue, that's the cast shadow. But it's softer. It's a little bit more difficult to see that. And I think when you're first starting out, it's better for you to draw with a photo that is on the left that has much, much more definitive light and shade. Now, listen, I have been critiquing student artwork just on my website, DTO, just on my website since 2008, 2009. And this, what I'm showing you, if you just leave my little live stream now and you're like, oh, this guy's boring, I'm out. He's talking too much. We're not drawing yet. If you leave the live stream now and you never come back to my channel and you just absorb what I just mentioned to you, that when you are starting out learning how to draw, you must choose photo reference that has really good light and shade versus soft or non-existent light and shade, you will get better and you will improve so much faster. It's not even funny. And the reasons why is because you will see the proportions better. Your drawings will just look so much more dynamic, and you will have value diversity. If you're drawing statue number 2 over here, which is the same statue, and you're going to shade, like your beginner eye could barely see this shadow on the butt. Barely see it. And your beginner eye, if you are a beginner, and there's nothing wrong with that, we all start our journey somewhere, you're going to have such a hell of a time being able to distinguish that that's the light and that's the shadow. And it's going to be torture. And you're basically going to be drawing from a flat photo, which is difficult. Okay, Matt, I got you. Don't overtalk it, Matt. Don't overtalk it. Can I share with you a few drawings that have some light and shade, that are quick drawings? Yes, let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I suggest to my students at SVA to set their screens up like this. It's easy to slide across. Now, okay, what are we looking at here? And I promise you we will be drawing together. So if you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil, we will be drawing together in less than 5 minutes. I am almost done sharing some stuff with you. Okie dokie. Now, when we look at this drawing here, well, these are drawings from a model that I drew with a model after class a few years ago. And actually, this was a while ago. And I think, if I remember correctly, these might have been 10-minute photos because I had a lot of them. And I think I only drew with the model after class for about like 2 hours or so. And so I would call these 10-minute sketches. And yes, so what you could see here, if I get a pointer, that I am drawing with line. Okay, I have like edge line, which I love. But then I also have shape and tone and light and shade. That's the shadow on the bottom portion of the oval of the breast, and that's the cast shadow. So what I'm encouraging you to do with your own artwork is to, even if you're doing like a 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute gesture drawing, to just kind of draw with minimal light and shade. It'll just make your drawings look so much more dynamic. Okay, the rest of the drawing, look, this is just line. It's just line. And over here, I'm using a little bit of light and shadow and cast shadow. So that's our light, that's our shadow, that's our cast shadow in a minimalistic sort of way. Let's look at another drawing here. Same thing now. Now this one is primarily line. I don't remember. I guess this was a 20. I just don't remember. But like a classic shadow is the eye socket, and it is casting a shadow on the nose. So right there is a shadow. Under the ear, into the jaw is a shadow. Okay? And then, look, I'm using line of action. I'm using a loose line over here on the butt and convex lines. And I'm using form lines. So not everything is tone. So this is a nice line and tone drawing for like a 20. These are very, very, very fast drawings. I can't see the stream right now in terms of the chat, if there is any chat. So just bear with me as I get through this like little beginning part of our lesson here today. And then I'll get to your questions, if any, in the chat. This is another section, I don't remember what these were. Maybe they were 10s. I don't remember. But this is a definitive cast shadow that the arm is casting on the torso. So I'm using some shadow shapes. You do not need to do this academic atelier 50-hour style of drawing, which there's nothing wrong with, but we're talking about just incorporating a little bit of light and shade today into the mix. For those of you who really aren't into this, or maybe you just like short drawings, this is the way to do it. Okay, let's look at this one. Same thing. I don't need to overkill it. Look, this drawing all the way over here on the right, it's primarily a line drawing. And where do you see a little bit of minuscule tone? Well, I kind of see it like right here, and it's barely nothing. The other drawings have a little bit more light and shade. I love these drawings to death. I guess I was in a good place when I did these drawings. And yeah, same page. And no, what is this, Matt? This is a full-blown tonal drawing. Now, there's not a lot of light and shade. There is some light and shade, but not a lot, and it's extremely soft. So this page is life drawing with primarily 80% line and 20% light and shade. This is a study from a beautiful painting. I forgot the name of the painter. I'm sorry. I forgot the name of the painting. It's in the Met in the American Wing, my favorite place. And look, so this is a little shadow. This is a little shadow. This is a shadow shape. Okay. Oh, God, this is a shadow and a cast shadow shape. The upper lip and lower lip shadow, cast shadow, and then there is a shadow on the neck with a cast shadow. And so this is a different beast. This is a tonal drawing drawn in a very soft way, and it's more painterly versus this, which is linear with minimal tone. So that's kind of what we're going to do today, okay? So I just want to share these with you, and just a quick little recap. This is a drawing, a photo reference that I don't think really you should be drawing with this if you're just getting started. It's just too difficult, okay? And you're drawing with line, and you're just not going to see the proportions. You are not going to see a lot, and I'm struggling right now to slide that over. Let me just go like this, and let me arrange the consolidate all tabs. And let's do this. This is better. This is better. So I think in today's live stream, we are only going to draw maybe that, okay? And I don't think we're going to draw the whole thing. It's just too much, although I love this statue. And I actually have a life drawing of this statue where I think I might have spent like 6 hours on it, 2 visits at the Met. I have no idea where it is, but it's somewhere in my house. Okay, that's enough of this. Let's go back. And I think we need to start drawing. And let's go here first, okay? And let me just make sure that I can see the stream. And, okay, does anyone want to say hello to me? I want to make sure that you're able to chat. Well, if you're not able to chat, I guess you can't chat. But let me try. Let me try. Oh, I didn't even spell sound right. How is the spund? How is the sound? Elizabeth, hi, Matt. How is the sound, people? Welcome, welcome, John Doe. Hello. Good morning. Oh, professor. I always tell my teachers, my students, not my teachers. You see where my mindset is? I'm always learning myself. I always tell my students just to say, hello, Matt. Professor, yeah, no, okay. Welcome, welcome. Sounds well. Thank you, Elizabeth. We hear you loud and clear. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to just juggle some things around my screen here for a moment. And if you have any questions about what I just explained in the screen cast portion of this little lesson, please let me know, okay? I don't know about that. These are big words, these are big words like master and instructor. I'm just I'm just a goofball at heart. So I appreciate y'all joining me here today. That was very kind of you to take your time and join me here. So just juggling some things, and I'm going to get started drawing momentarily. I'm going to be using just my Col-Erase pencil with my good old-fashioned Strathmore 400 series drawing paper because it's simple and I like it. And I've been drawing pretty well with that as of late. So yeah, I don't want to complicate my life and use something that's too complicated. So we're going simple. Now, listen to me, people. Listen. Actually, you can listen to me when I draw because I'm talking too much and I need to get this paper on the screen. So let me switch cameras now, and let's do that. 1 second. Oops. Okay. Let's go to scene number 1. Okay. So this is the full statue, and here we go. Yes, and I should put my little grayscale thing. You know, just kind of remind me. Oh, it's right in front of my face. My God, my God. Okay, let's put that over there. Yes, too much to draw in a live stream. We're already 20 minutes in. Remember to keep your mic at the mouth at the mic. Elizabeth, lean back talking to Mike. These are the notes I have around me, okay? Now, I'm getting a new microphone with new cameras, and the microphone is going to be a microphone where I could come back a little bit from the mic, but it will not catch my background noise. I also got this new mic set up, which I haven't used yet and I haven't used this yet. It is for my YouTube videos when I do sketchbook videos with the students. I've been so busy with teaching that I haven't had time. There's no excuse for that, but I just haven't had time. It has been chaotic lately. Okay, so, all right, let me just get a little swig of coffee here. Time out. But yeah, I've been doing. I don't want to make any mistakes. I've been researching a lot of the right cameras for live streaming in 4K because there's so many cameras for just making YouTube videos. But live streaming is another beast versus just making, a 20-minute YouTube video. Like when you do live streaming, like these cameras like overheat. The new ones, a lot of them do. If you don't get the right one, they overheat. It's a train wreck. And so you're dropping like $1,200 on a camera, and then you can only go 20 minutes in a live stream with 4K because the camera just dies. All right. Now, okay. So thank you for all these reminders, and thank you all for joining me. Now, I listen. It's the last time I drew something was Friday. We were drawing. What were we drawing in class? We were drawing a chandelier in 3-point perspective, looking up. That's a mouthful, right? A chandelier in 3-point perspective, looking up. That's what we were drawing, because my class on Friday afternoon and Friday morning was perspective and 3-point looking up and 3-point looking down. So what I want to do is I want to warm up. My fingers, I need my fingers to get going here. So how do we warm up? We draw ovals. I'm sorry, this is redundant, but this is huge. This is very important. Dino Nuggets, welcome. Now, I want my warm-up not only to include these ovals, but I'm going to do some shading warm-up also so I can show you. So this is what I think is the most important thing, at least it is for me, when I'm teaching a life drawing class. And the key is not to lift your pencil off of the paper. Matt, you teach us this every week. Yes, because this is fundamental and it is everything. And basically what we're doing here is we are scribbling. And then if we go to the left of that, what I really recommend that you do all the time is the bipolar opposite of this loose scribble are these shapes, okay? And these shapes are paramount. This is what we were doing so much in class on Friday. We were drawing a lot of these shapes when we were drawing the chandelier. And this is just a skill that I kind of put the fear of the tuition into my students. I'm like, listen, you're paying all of these thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to come to this college. Wouldn't you want to be able to leave the college and be able to draw accurately and not just loose, but loose and accurate? Yes, you would. So you need to practice this. Now, the other thing before we get to our drawing here today, our statue drawing in light and shade, is you need to be able to shade. And what I recognize so much is this is what people think shading is. This is not shading. That is texture. That is not shading. That is chaotic texture. Shading should be a little bit more controlled. And shading should be controlled and solid. Okay, so I'm going to give you my second biggest key takeaway from today's class. It's really what I'm showing you right now. Okay, it's really what I'm showing you right now. It's being able to shade a shape in a solid sort of way fairly quickly. Now, we could label this 14 million different things. We can label this a light middle tone. We can label this blocking in. We can label this a soft tone. But either way, what I'm going to label it is a solid shape. And I'm going to label this chaos. And I'm going to label this texture. This is not shading. This is just, it's no bueno. Now, if you want, you could incorporate. We talked about the 3 reasons why I'm teaching this class today, why you should incorporate light and shade into your drawings. Because number 1, you're going to be able to see proportions better. Number 2, you're going to just have much more of a dynamic drawing. And number 3, value diversity. But Matt, this has no value diversity, right? It's only one value. You're right. So now what we do is we incorporate a dark value on, let me just tape this piece of paper down. Where's my tape? 1 second. It was just moving on me. 1 second. Now we will incorporate a third value into the mix, which is a dark. So now on our piece of paper, we have light, we have shadow, we have light, we have mid-tone. I could make it a little bit darker, but it's good for now. And then this line here is our dark. So the paper is our light, the line is the dark, and the shading is the mid-tone. Now, listen, there are some teachers, and I love you all people, all you teachers out there who take my stuff out of context. I love you. People take this out of context and they're like, and I've seen this. Like I've walked into classrooms where the teacher left and they left some of their teaching on the blackboard, so to speak, the green board, whatever you want to call it. And I'm looking and they have the shading and they'll show like the generic. It's not generic. It's actually quite beautiful. They'll show the generic bark plate foot, right? And maybe that's the bark plate foot. Oh my God, that just looks terrible. And then they show like the bark plate, the line that separates, and they show the bark plate shading like this. And they actually cross this example out and they go like that and they call it flat. And I would agree with that 1,000%. So what is the antidote to take this shading that you see here that is really good on a diagonal and that is shaded solidly and not make it look flat like the bark plate thing? That is for you people to incorporate curved form lines around the flat shading. Where would we do that? We would do it here. We could shade on that curved way. It doesn't, so we still have our block in, which could be our first layer, and then we put these form lines on top of that flat tone. So we could do 2 things at once. And what is this over here, people? This is the curved form lines, aka curved form lines. What is this? It's a shape that we try to draw accurately. And what is this? It is a tone that we fill that shape in to make it look more 3-dimensional and to make our drawings look more dynamic and to make our drawings look more kind of interesting, quite frankly. Because if you're just going to draw with line, like, listen, I love line. It's my favorite thing in the world. aside from like coffee that I'm not drinking. 1 second. Cool. Um, if I just left the live stream today and you saw me scribbling with this and you're like, oh God, this person, they don't know how to draw, and you just left, and some of what I just taught you sunk into your subconscious brain about drawing loose, drawing accurately, drawing and shading with a solid tone, drawing with 3 values. If you just left right now because I'm boring you, holy Moses, this is like everything you need to know visually about drawing the figure, drawing portraits, and just drawing in general, in my opinion. Let me look at the chat. So, Tim, do you ever do pen drawings? Maybe you can do. Okay, check this out. Oh, come on, where is my pen? I usually keep one right here. Oh, there it is. Hold on, Tim. The answer to your question is, do I ever do pen drawings? Rarely. Do I love them? Yes. Look, let's just use this cheesy doctor's office. The best pens, it's not from a doctor's office. That's just like a running joke with my students because they all go to bed at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then they find themselves like in November at the walk-in on 23rd Street. And they steal the doctor's office pen and they start to draw in their sketchbook and they do their best drawings. Yeah, so we call this the doctor's office pen. And hopefully you don't go to the doctor's office and to get the pen. Just go to the store to get the pen. Or just look in that junk drawer. So, Tim, check this out. Rock Flowers Cats. Thank you, Rock Flowers Cats. If I draw a shape and I'm using a pen, like I find just going straight up and down. This could be the lesson today. We don't even need to draw the statue. If I'm just drawing straight up and down like this, that is a very good way to shade with pen. A very, very, very good way to shade with pen. Now, listen. Oh, God, where is my value scale? You know, I have packs of value scale. I used to give them away when people would join my website. I would give away a box set DVD of how to draw the cast drawing with a grayscale. I don't do that anymore because people don't use DVDs, but damn it, I can't find the other half of my grayscale. I'm just going to open up one more draw here. I got too many art supplies. Too many. I just found that it was buried. Too many art supplies. So, Tim, I'm still talking to you, Tim, here. What value is this? Squint at your screen. I think it's value number 9 on this value scale. You see what I'm talking about here? So now, Tim, check this out. And that's the same value. I think it's because I'm very light-handed today, and yes. At Galaxy's End. At Galaxy End, I don't know if you are a student at SVA and you related to what I just said there about the doctor's office in November, but yeah, it's a thing. Now, Tim, check this out. Pen drawing. Another shape. So now if I take my time and I press down a little bit harder with the pen, this is a values lesson. Ooh, look at how that's curving. That's weird. What the hell is that? What value is that? Oh, it's darker than a value number 6. I'm going to call that squint. I think it's a number 3 on that value scale. So I'm getting distracted with teaching values when it's a light and shade class. But yeah, so I'll do straight up and down over here. Straight up and down, straight up and down. Now, the color erase pencil all told sucks for shading. It really does, because it just takes forever. It's great for shading if you have 5 hours. It sucks for shading if you have 10 minutes. Okay, so now do you see what we just did there? We made another shape. And yeah, and now look, we're going a little bit more dynamic now. I'm pressing down harder. I am getting warmed up. And so, yeah, okay. So don't let's not go with the word don't. Let me rephrase what I was going to say. Try to include light and shadow in a minimalistic sort of way in your line drawings. That's what I should have titled the video right there, that sentence. Try to include a little bit of tone in your line drawings for a more dynamic, three-dimensional, better to see proportion style drawing. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me just look at the chat. I wish to be an SVA student, but can certainly relate to the magic of the free office pen. Okay, got you. Before we get to the drawing today, holy shit, we're already, what did we start at? When did we even start this live stream? Did I really start it at 11 or 11:30? We started at 11. I've been talking for 40 minutes. Holy Moses. Okay, we need to draw. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to move me here. Yeah. This needs to maybe go over there for now. And I need to get the other photo. Cool. Oh, it's a different scene. Okay. Listen, so you wouldn't shade differently with a pen? No, Tim, I would not. I would, whether I'm using, okay, so let's talk about, let me just put this grayscale here so it has, my camera has something to focus on, doesn't look like shit. So we've got 3 things. I'm going to show you 4 things. Hold on. So what do we have here in the screen? I have my trusty old Wacom Cintiq pen with a cheesy plastic pen nib. I would shade the same on this Cintiq screen with this pen as I just shaded with my Col-Erase. If I'm shading with my Bic cheesy doctor's office pen, I'm shading the same way. And if I'm going to use my Apple Pencil on my iPad, I'm shading the same way. It's all the same for me personally. And then if I'm going to paint with my paintbrush, I'm going to shade the same way, solidly. Okay? And then there will be parts of the drawing where I don't shade, like I just showed you in the screencast version of this lesson here today on YouTube. All right. Oh, God. Let's see if I know how to draw today. Let me just look at this. Can a normal pencil be enough for shading? Yes. I just, Bahrani, I just feel that an H pencil is a little bit too hard. I'd rather you stick with the B's. Let me just look at this. I recall a lesson in a video made a few years ago about the importance of the peanut shape. Does that also correlate to shading the form? No, the peanut shape is just a generic shape for the torso that is a starting point sometimes for a short duration or a long duration drawing. It's just a shape that will enable you to draw the figure quickly and is another thing that's taken out of context all the time. So this is the peanut shape. So now I'm I need to slow my roll here today. I'm drawing like I'm a mess today here. Okay, so torso of the body, collarbone, breast, rib cage, navel, privates, oblique. Yeah, so that would be my torso peanut shape with form lines and no shading. So now, if I wanted to, I could teach this whole lesson out of my imagination. It would actually be better. Now, what I could do is I could say, where's my light coming from in this little torso peanut shape? Oh boy, where? Oh, there it is. It's the light is over here, and it's shining down, and it's hitting my torso peanut shape. So now maybe this would be the line that separates the light from the shadow on that torso, and I am going to choose to shade straight up and down on a diagonal, which some teachers hate, and they say don't do that because it's flat. But the context is there's no form lines on top. How do we not make it flat? We freaking add form line shading, which I'm getting into too many diverse topics here. And that's no good. As a teacher, I got to stay on point. This is fun. Okay, makes sense? Okay, we got a boatload of questions coming in. No, Paul, I would not keep all the shading lines in the same direction. I'll show you when I start to actually draw here. Listen, I don't care about typos. We're having a good time here at Galaxy N. My spelling is horrendous too, so I'm sympathizing with you. Bahrani, thank you. Does the warm-up exercise you just mentioned also apply to digital painting? Where I'm using my iPad for reference. And okay, timeout. Yes, okay. One second. Let me open up Photoshop because the last time I used my iPad, I had these things showing in my photos, which I really didn't want to share. And yeah, no bueno. Okay, so let me get rid of, I want to get my iPad. It's right here in front of me. And I want to show you the same thing on the iPad. I'm just trying to go to a page from class. Okay. All right, I don't know. Is this going to actually even show up? So where's my Apple? Oh, I don't have any way to hold this because my Sketchboard Pro's in the classroom and it's not here at home. And what's this brush? Okay. People, look, I could share some drawings with you. Or, I don't know. Maybe today's just a conversation and we don't draw. Maybe today's just a conversation and we don't do a drawing. I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking so much today. So let me share with you some drawings. This was a little messy one, but I like it. Hold on, my camera's caught on the edge of the paper. Now, this is that chaotic shading. Now, if I was going to, let me get a new layer. I don't want to draw on this layer. I actually like this little sketch. Now, does the warm-up exercise just apply to digital? Okay, so yeah, I don't have my Sketchboard Pro, and I hate drawing on the, listen, I'm a big baby. I freaking hate when my hand's on the edge of the iPad. It sucks for me. Sketchboard Pro eliminates that problem. It's in my classroom. Sorry. So look, people, shading the same way in a solid way with form lines on top. So how big is this pencil? It's 7 pixels. Okay. And, oh, gee whiz. Okay. Let's, so I'm not shading solidly over here. Matt, you just lied to us. I did. This is a quick sketch, people. This is a quick sketch. It's more about life drawing. Now, could I If I had a gazillion hours, could I come on in and shade in that solid sort of way? Yes, I could. You just got to pick and choose your battles. Okay. Now let's close that layer. What is this? That was lay of the land. We were doing form last week. That was surface planes. We were talking about that, combining forms. And what else did we do last week in class? This was more about form. I'll show you a couple more and then we'll get to our drawing here today. Love this one. That one I just had up. This was round form. I got to post these drawings. I don't post my shit. It's just too much. This was just loose form, gestural. I think, yeah, I'm missing the outline to that figure there. Was it this page? Oh, there we go. So organic ovals versus surface planes. This is the way you really want to draw. Oh, I did it again. I'm trying to hold my iPad and I keep shutting it off. And goes on pretty quickly though. Okay, and what else can I share with you all? Oh my God, I'm not sharing all this. There's way too much here. I think that's enough. Okay. So the shading thing, I'm not doing it here. But if I was, new layer, if I was going to do that, what you have to understand is that you got to just teach one thing at a time. And that's what I try to do. So you look at this, and this was from last week's class when we did form. Okay. Is this helping everybody? Or am I talking too much? Okay, let me put this up here. I'm sorry. Excuse my arms. I am going to talk away from the mic for a second, Elizabeth. Okay, my bald head's in the photo. In the video, we got a whole bunch of shit going on here this morning. And, okay, you'll excuse me. Okay. Love it. And I need more coffee. Okay, we're gonna get drawn in a second. My coffee's cold. Gee whiz. Okay, didn't last long. Today is flying. Thank you, Paul. Okay. At Galaxy's End. What a name. Gee whiz. My life is so boring. I need a name like At the Galaxy's End. What's the other one? Another one that was crazy. Rock, flowers, cats. Cats, rocks, flowers. Rock, flower, cats. Dino Nuggets. John Doe. Okay. Listen, I'm just very happy you're here with me here today, and I'm not talking to myself in my home office. It's so weird. I've filmed so many video tutorials over the years, and when you do that, you're basically just in a room, in a box, talking to yourself. I don't like doing that much anymore. I'd rather have the interaction with everybody here on YouTube and on my Zoom calls out drawing tutorials. Okay, Jake, let's see. I'm a little messed up over here. I am so far away from the chat. My God. Okay. I know you prefer to draw the form with ovals and cylinders, but are there exceptions dependent on the model? Would you use blocks instead of ovals if you were drawing a bodybuilder? Jake, that rock flowers cats, thank you. I appreciate you. John Doe, I don't think you want to be a John Doe. Okay, John is a cool name, though. I like John. Jake, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not taking my iPad down again because nobody needs to see my bald head. Uh, I I believe so. Okay, so let me explain it this way, Jake, and then we need to freaking draw. I need to draw. I need to draw. Like you're looking at blank white paper. Like this is a great way for me to lose everybody on the live stream. Okay. I'm going to answer Jake's question, and then I need to start this statue drawing. Okay, because we're 53 minutes in, and I've drawn nothing. It's my humble opinion from drawing in the classroom. I started drawing the figure in the classroom in 1986, but quite frankly, I started drawing like people in the classroom when I was in high school. I remember we had like a live model in high school that was clothed, but drawing nudes started in 86 in first year of college. And the figure is organically round. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had an older gentleman who was in great shape. I'm going to say that this model was in their late 60s, in incredible shape, super thin. If anybody, I was going to draw anybody in boxes, it would have been that model. But I still started them in an organic way. Secondly, we had a model last week who had a complete different body, very, very round, lots of muscles. It was so much easier. Like I was literally struggling to teach the surface planes with this model. I really was. Like the surface planes drawing Jake I did, they were out of my imagination because I couldn't relate boxes to this model's body. They were so completely round. So my answer to you is organic lines are the body. Organic lines as a body. You got it at Galaxy End. At Galaxy's End, you got it. Okay. So Jake, I'm pretty like I'll close with this. Jake, I'm gonna get my iPad. I gotta show that you this people because I need to give you context. Okay. Back to Photoshop. Okay, Jake, listen. For me, the body is completely organic, not boxy. Although you need to understand this conceptually in order to draw the model when you're starting to add light and shade, because conceptually light only hits one surface plane. Okay, let's just trash this. Now, if I try to look, I don't think I have anything like really finished here, but I'm going to go all day long to the Bridgman. Okay. So Bridgman, one second. Bridgman is the person who could draw the organic boxes and make them look good like this. I'm no Bridgman. So if you want to study boxes and starting with the boxes, Bridgman is the person to study, because I believe that there's something very special about Bridgman's drawings. And if I show you one more. Yes. Let me get rid of my disaster here. Where the hell is it? There we go. I think that the way Bridgman, like, look, primitive surface planes boxes. Organic boxes. Jake, this is the solution to that question that you just asked, the Bridgman drawings. I would highly advise you to learn from the Bridgman drawings. They are incredible. Okay? Okay. Okay, sorry. Let me put this back up. 1 second. Okay. I'm just going to sketch. I'm not going to worry about the... I'm not going to worry about anything today. I'm just going to sketch. All right. Where the hell are we? So this is the top of my... Oh, boy. 1 hour in. And we're finally drawing. How do we have people actually watching the live stream? Okay. Yes, I've lost a couple people, but let's draw. Bottom, left, right. I'm gonna zoom in a second. Okay, Nico, Rockflower Cats. Yes, yes. Nate, Cynthia. I'm gonna critique your drawing later today. It looked really good. Tim, still watching Organic Paul. Okay, awesome. So our live area today is small, and I am gonna zoom in. I've got this to about like 7.5 inches, and it's 7 inches wide right now. So okay, so I'm just gonna go fast, and I'm gonna say if I start our model's head here, and do I have enough room for the left shoulder? Yes, I do. Okay, let's do it. So I got to get a little closer. That's so high up. So high up. So, okay, I always say start with the torso. So why am I starting with the head? Um, just because I want to be different. I don't always want to do the same thing. And I think that's really important for everybody here on the live stream to understand that you should get out of your comfort zone and try different things. Okay. So why am I stalling? I'm stalling because this is kind of very small, and I'm like, should I draw that small? Let's just go for it. So now neck, ear, neck. I'm shading with a Colorase, so this is big enough because the Colorase takes forever. Um, so yes. Now I'm gonna just put this here for a second. So what I'm gonna do? So all right, what did we just do there? We drew with some really disgusting chicken scratch. That's what we just did right there. And I'm gonna zoom in momentarily. Okay. So now what I'm going to do immediately is I'm not going to fret over the edges and trying to make my edges perfect. What I'm doing immediately is I'm coming on in and just drawing my line that separates the light from the dark. And I'm adjusting my edge, and I'm on the cast shadow on the shoulder. And now what I'm going to do like immediately is shade on the diagonal. Now I know this is a little unorthodox. I haven't done anything else. I haven't done the angles on the edge. I haven't done any measuring. I haven't done much of anything at all. And maybe this is going to come back to bite me in the butt. I don't know. But I'm just showing you that it's just really important to shade in a solid way. And sometimes if you start this way, almost like you got it, Cynthia, almost like a painter, you could see things quickly this way, very quickly this way. Now, what I'm going to do, just indulge me here for a second. I've got to lower this paper because this is so far away from me, my head, and it's not comfortable for me to draw that way. So I'm just going to lower this, and I will move the paper again when I get into more of the body. I'll lift it back up. And plus, there's so many different things that I teach in my classroom. I teach a lot of things more so than what I teach here on YouTube. So I'm just trying to be like a little different Um, well, okay. Have you ever had students, this is from John, have you ever had students who only drew digitally, and when you teach this stuff in classes, do you make them work traditionally like this? Well, uh, I'm going to just say that 100% of my animation students work digitally, 100%. And all of their films are created digitally. Now, does that not mean that they don't do theirs? Now I'm drawing on the edge of this head, and I'm going to try to pay attention to the angles, but I'm doing it in more of an organic way. So they all are working on their films, their thesis films, their fourth year students, and they're all working digitally. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to do storyboards with a mechanical pencil in a sketchbook. It doesn't mean that they're never going to draw traditionally. And I think it's valuable to do both. I think if digital is your thing and you like that, I think every once in a while picking up like just a mechanical pencil and maybe just doing a quick sketch with a mechanical pencil isn't going to hurt your digital drawings. It's only going to help it. So this is a little value for the ear. And there's no line really that separates the line from the hair to the skin. But yeah, so now I'm going to move. So I'm, listen, John, I'm the only one in the classroom drawing digitally. Everybody's drawing with a pencil, and nobody wants to draw with their iPad in the classroom because they draw and paint and create, and they're looking at a screen all day long. And I think it is, what's the word that I'm looking for? What is the phrase that I'm looking for? It's actually soothing in a weird way to not look at a screen for 3 hours out of the week when they're in my class and they're drawing the model from life. It's actually relaxing. It's different. It's a little bit soothing. It's a little bit meditative. So this is too thick. I'm seeing immediately that's too thick. So I'm going to angle this in. And I had the head the correct width the first time I drew it, and then I made it wider. That happens to me a lot. So now I'm making one big hot mess. And connecting lines. Better. We don't want to give this statue a linebacker's neck. Still think it's too wide, but we'll adjust. Okay. I just feel that working digitally, like, okay, let's not use the phrase digitally. Let's just talk about percentages. So I'm a big believer that you choose the percentages of how much you're going to work a certain way. So let's just talk about memory, life, and photo drawing. So maybe you're going to work from photos 20% of the time. Maybe you're going to work out of your imagination 70% of the time. And maybe you're only going to do life drawing for 10% of your drawing time. So you just need to figure out those percentages. And that is really important that you do that. And it's the same thing with your medium. Are you going to work digitally on your iPad like 100% of the time? That's cool. But maybe you want to incorporate like 5 to 10% of your time where you're using a mechanical pencil or a pen. And it's just going to, it's just a nice change for your brain. I'm taking way too long for something that is simpler than what I'm doing here. Okay. So Yes. Where's my mono zero? Gee whiz, there we go. It's right in front of my face again. Just want to really make that neck thicker, thinner, thinner. Okay. Let me just indicate bottom of the chin. Now this model's hair is big hair. And I'm going to lower the eye socket here because my forehead's not big enough. So I'm going to lower that. This is the kind of the bridge of the nose, I do believe. And then the nose is a little bit more straight up and down. Even though the head's pretty straight up and down, and then the tip of the nose is very close to the chin. You see that? And now chin. Now this is where our cast shadow starts, here at the chin. And there's the Rembrandt triangle on the left side of the statue's face right here. So we need to make sure that we have the Rembrandt light triangle because it's form light. And I'm talking about way too many things today on this live stream. But for those of you who are newbies to this channel, form light really is like the best light to draw from. Now, listen, we're drawing a light statue. I shouldn't press down so hard. It's a double-edged sword because if I don't press down hard enough, you can't even see what the heck I'm doing on the video. But if I want to make this look like a light marble statue, I don't want to go so dark with these shadows. So I'm really trying to integrate the value ratios, which is another topic for another day. Now I'm just going to shade this in a solid way. Yeah, so John, in terms of never knowing what the heck to fill sketchbooks with, I think that's what you meant. There's just the philosophy of, I think it's beneficial to do the three disciplines. And the three disciplines are drawing from life, drawing from photos, and drawing out of your imagination. So maybe in your sketchbook, you could practice one of the three disciplines. And it's just that's what you're going to devote that sketchbook towards. So maybe you're always working on your iPad digitally, and what you do digitally is you work from photos. So maybe in your sketchbook, you're just going to do like out of your imagination. So you can treat it that way. Yeah, and the reason why nocturne see that I draw traditionally, digitally in the classroom. I do both. I do both. Is because at the School of Visual Arts we have beautiful classrooms. Like I'm really lucky because I've had terrible classrooms, trust me. But right now SVA they've really upped their game, especially in the animation department, and the classrooms are just really bar none. They're phenomenal, and so I've got this big monitor in my life drawing class that I draw on my iPad. I put my iPad on an easel. And when the students are drawing the model in class, they see me draw on the screen. And it is such a good way to learn. It is such a good way to learn. Now, I also do traditional drawing demonstrations also for the students. And that's a good way to learn different things. It's a good way for them to see how I move my hand around the big 18 by 24 paper. It's a different way for them to see me with my actual touch with the pencil on the paper. So the me drawing on the screen while working on my iPad is different. That's if a student didn't see what I was doing, or they were distracted, or they watched me, but they were like, wait, what? And then I draw when they're drawing, oh my God, like they learn so much faster. Okay. So it's a lot of, it's really important. It's really important for the students just to learn faster. Now, do you see all these mistake lines that I have outside, all my terrible measuring? I'll turn that into texture. I'm sorry, I'll turn that into a background tone at the end. So now, let's get this shape. Now, it's a shape. One could call it an eye socket, but it's a shape. I'm not drawing the eyes, I'm just drawing shapes. Forehead, underplane, lower eyelid. See, this looks a little weird because the lower eyelid is so much higher. I'd have to use my eraser to draw the lower eyelid. So the eyes right now look a little crooked. And that's on purpose because that's the statue. And I'll try to fix it. Now, okay. Hold on now. Let me resharpen my pencil. I want to just revisit this and clear this up. So you see now what I'm doing, I'm incorporating the third value, which is the dark. And it's the dark outline. And if this is the top of the Rembrandt triangle, that's the bottom of the ear. Okay, and I've really, this just goes to show you that most of drawing is your eye-hand coordination, because the last time I picked up anything to draw with was Friday. And we did a lot of drawing in the class on Friday, 3-point perspective looking up and 3-point perspective looking down. So there was a lot of drawing involved there, but I haven't picked up the pencil since. And that was how many days ago? 3 days ago. And so a lot of drawing. You can't beat yourself up. Like this should have been cranked out so much quicker. Most of drawing is eye-hand coordination. I know what to do, but my hand is not cooperating with me. And I'm just things that should take me a certain amount of time are taking me way too long just because of eye-hand coordination. So you've got to understand that if you ever get like frustrated because you're like, oh God, why am I struggling? I know what to do. Yes, you do know what to do, but you haven't done it. Just like me neither. If I would have drawn something over the weekend, I wouldn't be going this slow with trying to figure this out, this head. Okay. Now, I'm going to just go faster with a brush. I could leave it that way, but I just want to go faster. So I want to push this into the paper. And that's making for more of a solid tone. And I'm going outside of the lines. And technically, I'm just going to be a lunatic here. And we're going to draw a little bit with the eraser. Okay, so now I should keep this value there, but I just want to clean up my drawing. It's a little wonky, and this jaw needs to come over more. And we'll go back over the line. Haven't quite figured out that edge. All right, let me just get rid of some of those eraser crumbs. And I'm going to go over it one more time. And actually, I got coffee left. Hold on one second. Madison, welcome to the live stream. This is the first time Madison is writing hi. This is the first time I've seen you live. I love the sketchbook videos you share. I appreciate that, Madison. Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching me struggle through this here today, so I hope you're getting a good laugh. And Catalina, so real. There's such a difference when I go to figure drawing sessions cold. If I only drew for a few hours before, is like warming up for the gym. You better believe it. Now listen. I'm just talking real here. All right. So I've been a professional artist my whole adult life, and I shouldn't really use the excuse of eye-hand coordination, but I'm just relating. I'm just trying to relate to everybody, and if I draw, like, now my time for warming up has gotten shorter. So if I keep drawing, I'm just about warmed up right now. But back in the day when I would take time away and then I would come back to it, it would take me like a couple of days to really get back into like my high peak skill set. Whereas now I can get into my peak skill set quicker within minutes. So if I showed you more drawings on my iPad, you would see that my first drawings of the morning where I'm doing like the warm-ups with the model, they suck. But then I quickly warm up. And it doesn't really take me long, whereas because I just have a little bit more experience now. But back in the day, it would just take me forever. Like, it would take me days to get back into it. And I learned about this when I was much younger, in my mid-20s. I was really into like cycling because I had gained some weight after college. I was home, I'm sitting down painting, I'm working all day. And I'm like, damn, I got to lose some weight. So I really got into big time heavy, like that Tour de France style, like cycling, when I was in my mid-20s. And I learned from the Tour de France dudes that, from reading magazines and stuff like that, that if they took like a week off from riding, it would take them 2 weeks to have their cardio get back up to where it was when they were riding every day. And if they took 3 weeks off from the riding, it would literally take them 6 weeks to get their cardio back into a place where it was before they took that time off. And I always related that to drawing. So I used to think that if I took like a week off from drawing, it would take me 2 weeks to get back to where I was. And there's a lot of truth to that. Even some of the drawings that I showed you earlier on in the screencast portion of this lesson today on our live stream on YouTube, I was really on when I did those drawings. And then there are other times when I'm not so on. So you could, like, I feel like I really started to get into the groove this semester, like last week. All right, so how do you get that face to look feminine? I know it's looking a little rough right now, so I'm gonna just keep working on it. So what's happening is that I'm not drawing eyes. I didn't take this into account when I chose. I'm drawing eye sockets, and so that's looking a little rough, and everything's like too blocky. And so I need to keep working on it, and you're just gonna have to watch me evolve it. But I don't like to use too many stereotypes because nowadays people don't necessarily like that. But And I've drawn enough to understand that, you know, you can have a female model come into the classroom, and they're athletic and their body is extremely chiseled. And then you could have a male model come into the classroom and their body is not athletic, and they are a little bit more round. So I don't really like stereotype things like, you know, this person's, all of these people are like square and chiseled, and all these people are a little bit more feminine and softer and round. Like that doesn't really apply. What's applying right now in this situation is I'm just struggling. So yeah, William. So you just got to watch me struggle through it, absolutely. And it's a combination of things. It's a combination that my freaking chair. Hold on. I am so far away from this. I want to curse, but I'm not going to curse. Um, I am so far away from this freaking drawing that I'm struggling because I'm not seated properly. Number two, I haven't drawn all weekend. Number three, I'm talking a lot, which is distracting me because I'm thinking about what I'm talking about. Excuses. Well, then why do the live stream, Matt? Excuses. I got to stop making up excuses. Um, so now let me just try to chisel a little bit and try. Okay, so I'm noticing today, Nocturne Z, I'm using a lot of straight lines, which is not like the way that I like to draw. So I should curve some of these lines, and that would be better. Yep. And curve. So this statue is no joke. I think it's pretty good. And when I was thinking I was going to do this lesson here today, I wasn't thinking about likeness at all. I was just thinking about light and shade. And so, yeah, we're just drawing. Okay, so let's go down to the lip area, and that nose. Excuse me. That nose is kind of casting a shadow, and then the lips are so freaking close to that nose. And the cast shadow under the lower lip, and that cast shadow under the lower lip, don't go all the way across. And then the light on the chin, which needs to be bigger, and then it rolls. And so I need to form my kneaded eraser into a point. Hi, Yusra. Thank you, Yusra. I'll see you tomorrow in our DTO class. Yeah, this is rough. I need to do the critiques later today, into Tuesday morning. So what I just did there made the face look slightly more feminine. I think that line on the chin was like way too straight, and I'm lowering the chin a touch and making it look rounder. So, you know, the fact of the matter is rounder is softer. Square is straight is a little bit more square, and rigid. So these are just, you know, generic things. My earlobe is a little bit massive. That was a really good oxymoron. A little bit massive. Better. And it's still, it is what it is. I'll just keep fighting through it. All right, so now I'm going to pay a little bit more closer to this neck, shoulder, around the deltoid. And yeah, I'm going to start all over the top, but I need a drink. Hold on one second. Okay, hang in there, people. Hang in there. Now, I want to do a little bit of line. So we're balancing, like I showed you earlier, the line and the shadow. I'm looking at the width, and this shoulder's pretty wide. And this shoulder, how's that width? Okay, so maybe I will zoom out and we'll draw a little bit more of the body, which means I need to lift up my paper now so we get the whole thing in the screen. Okay. Gee whiz. Stiff as a board today. Stiff as a board. Okay, so now I'm going to go looser. At least I'm going to try to. I'm doing my line that separates. Coming on down. This is the chest. And side of the breast. Side of the rib cage. Hip kicks out. Let's see. I think I'm off. So the edge of this is at the edge of the hair. Oh boy. 1 second. Not quite. It's over a little bit. Better. Does this erase? Not bad. Okay. So, at this point in the drawing, I would be dreading doing the rest in case it ruins this beginning. Well, my beginning is nothing really to write home to mom about. So it's just you could have the mentality that you're just kind of everything's practice, and we're just drawing for the waste paper basket, and we really don't care. And sometimes, when I say that to my younger students, they look at me like I'm nuts. But like sometimes there is you could care too much, and then when you care too much, it almost like starts to become stifling, and you're really afraid to make a mistake. And so, like, in most of my teaching drawings are like a mess, and I'm really okay with that, because I understand that for the teaching demos, I could throw my ego out the window and teach people valuable things that they'll help them improve their drawings. And it doesn't mean my drawing looks good. It just means that a key takeaway for the student was A, B, and C. And then I look at the drawing and I'm like, oh my, and that's on me. Like, damn, I need to practice more. Or idiot, like Matt, draw more, idiot. And so, yeah, I need to take all this stuff into account. But for yourself, John, some of these drawings that we're doing and where you start the head and it's coming out pretty good, and you're concerned, like, am I going to screw it up? Like, you can look at it a different way. Like, the whole drawing's screwed up for me right now, and I don't care because I'm just kind of teaching how to draw light and shade. So I could try to just make it happen and struggle my way through it, and see where it takes me. And it's all like really good practice. So now over here, people, I would just look at the width of the armpit area. And the side of the breast. And now we have another cast shadow, and then this arm's coming down. So, okay. For famous last words, I don't hate it. Okay, I kind of just want to get a little bit of this oblique in because I love the obliques. They're a cool muscle. And I think I just want to end the drawing, not the live stream, but end my drawing maybe at the oblique hip area thing. And so, like, this is a nice counterbalance right here to the drawing. And then we kind of like roll in. And then we've got curving. These are the form lines that we were talking about earlier. I know that's probably so hard to see because I've zoomed out. Sorry for that. Form lines. Form line going around. There's a shadow shape over here, and then there's negative space, and then that side of our torso. So do you see now how you can go from tone to line? And you don't need to do the line or the tone everywhere. You can piecemeal it. And I think that's kind of a fun way to draw. John, I listen. You just, I don't know. I've just been doing this for so many years. I guess sometimes I can come off as feeling like a little jaded. Seriously, I'm not jaded. I'm not jaded. Like I get a little cynical sometimes with myself about how I don't draw as much as I should, and like I draw like a lot during the week, but on the weekends, I it's my time to do other things and to replenish because if you're always putting out creatively, and then also with my body, like I'm older and I've abused my body big time in terms of sitting down in front of a chair painting all freaking day, and that doesn't really fly with my when I do that, my body's like, oh yeah. Well, fuck you, pal. We're going to make you feel it tomorrow morning. And so when I sit all day and work, that is no good. And my body will just remind me about that like big time. So, yeah, I tend to be a little cynical about my own work. And, you know, don't mind me. Don't mind me. As long as you're getting some value from these classes, that's all I'm out to do is to give everybody something that they could take home and practice. And yeah. No, I hear you, man. That's what this is all about, having a good time. I definitely don't take myself too seriously. And in the classroom, I think I joke too much to a fault. Uh, yeah. And I think it takes, I do feel it takes a while for people to get used to my teaching style because there's all different types of teachers on the interwebs here on YouTube. There's a lot of great teachers, and they all are awesome. And they're all giving out really good information. And I don't really like to watch other drawing teachers. Like I'll glance at somebody every once in a blue moon. Because what they're working just on looks so good, and I'll watch them. But I've never watched truly like another teacher's lesson from start to finish in years because I don't want to be influenced by what they're teaching because I think it's very good to have your own authentic voice and just come at teaching what you're teaching from your own mindset and your own style. And my style tends to be like a little goofy, and other teachers' styles tend to be maybe a little bit more serious, and so there's a place for that. I'm not knocking it. You just got to find your place, and so my place is a little bit more goofy. Like I try not to take myself too seriously. When I was younger and I was an illustrator and that was my full identity. Yeah, I was way more serious about it and oil painting and all that. Now it's just I teach like a lot of young students and it's really fun. And My classes are long. They're 3 hours or they're 6 hours. And when you have a room full of 18 and 19-year-old students and you're in this room together for 6 hours with a 45-minute lunch break, um, yeah, it's my experience. You've got to keep these students like engaged, and I do that through not taking everything so seriously. Uh, yeah, like I think I also teach. Okay, we went from light and shade to more like mental stuff. I'll just talk a little bit about the mental stuff here. I just hope that you're getting something from what I'm teaching you. Uh, okay, so let me zoom in. That's too far away. Uh, what I guess the students in my perspective backgrounds class are 19 to 20 years old. 19 to 20 years old. And I talk to them when I critique their artwork. The critiques are the most fun about their mental game, Catalina. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I appreciate that, John. So, what I'm um, really big into as of late, because when I teach at the School of Visual Arts, you get a wide variety of students at all different levels. So you've got to meet the student where they're at, and how you do that is you always leave the critique with what went well, and you should do this too. Everybody listening to me, how many people we got here? I don't even know. I'm curious. Okay. Awesome. We've got 34 people watching. Thank you so much. Um, what I do in the critiques is and it's so valuable. What I won't give my whole game away here, but the number one thing at the end of the critique is what went well, and you should do this with your drawings. Thank you, Nocturne C. Um, thank you, Paul. Is that you have to come at your drawings with what went well, not like holy shit I suck. That person next to me is so good. How did they get so good? Like what the hell am I doing? Like these are all the wrong questions. Like what you need to say to yourself when you're drawing and it is what did I do? Like it's not some cheesy fluff thing. It's just part of the equation. Like what went well, and I'll beat myself up too. And but you're beating yourself up isn't going to help you get better. Uh, it's that you do that as minimally as you possibly can. You get that out of your system as quickly as you can, and then you immediately go to what did I do really well, and what is something that I liked about what I did here today in my artwork, and that is going to help you improve so much faster than the constant mantra of, man, Jesus, I've been drawing for the last like 5 years and I'm still doing the same shit that sucks. And, that's not going to help you at all. So, yeah, it's good to be serious, but at the same time, you don't want to overdo it and get too heady about it. And sometimes you just need to do some artwork where you're like, you know what, I just don't care about this one. I want to have fun. I don't want to get too like anal about everything, and I just want to draw. And sometimes when you do that, it's better. You get better results because you're not putting like all this unnecessary mental pressure on the process. I hope this makes sense. Okay. So I'm really into that right now with my younger students, and what it basically is is it's building confidence, because you need confidence in order to keep going with this when the person who's sitting next to you in the classroom is so good and their drawings are so good that you're like, oh my God, what am I even doing in here? I don't belong here. Like, these people are so much better than me. And then you lose your confidence, and then you say, I'm not even going to work on the homework. What's the point? And you float a little bit, and that's no good. Okay. So I want to treat the right side more like a line drawing, and I'm focusing in on this shape and this shape. So maybe for this particular drawing, I'll do it 3 different ways. So this is brush, this is no brush, and this is going to be more line. Yeah, let's try that. So trying to get rid of some of my straight lines. I'm drawing some of the abs over here, and I'm trying to shade in a solid way on this side without using the brush. Diagonal shading. So somebody asked earlier, I think I'm forgetting, do you need to shade in the same pencil stroke direction? And you can see me, I'm not doing that. I'm going in all different directions. So the answer is no, you do not need to shade in the same direction everywhere. Because over here, I'm shading vertically. Over here, I'm shading around the form. And I think it over here is totally shading around or using round lines with some diagonal pencil strokes. And if you look at like the Michelangelo, Raphael style of rendering with whatever they rendered with back in the day, they used all different pencil stroke direction. They used all different pencil stroke direction, no doubt. And the drawings were really, really dynamic. Curve around, aka our Michelangelo demo over a month ago now. And I'm going to treat this side with just line. So just line, center line, Are you talking about the statue? Okay, navel. How far is the navel from the bottom of the breast? I'm just reminding you of things that you should be thinking about. And I just want to do this with line. There's a beautiful shadow shape over here, but I want to show you that you don't need to draw shadows everywhere. You can do one side of your drawing linear and one side of your drawing like a little bit tonal. It doesn't need to be either or, and it's certainly there's so many mistakes with this drawing, it's out of control. As I'm drawing around and looking at all my off measurements. So this is why are my measurements like a little screwy? Just because I started silly, like I didn't map the drawing out with measurements, and I really didn't look at the statue before I started the live stream. I just truth be told, like I just kind of got it this morning, and I'm like, okay, my go-to is going. I've got thousands of photos, reference photos that I've bought from Graphit Studio and other places as well. But sometimes I just like drawing from statues from the Met because they're so fun to draw from. Okay. So, yeah, linear, I'm not going to outline. I would have liked to have this line be a little bit more organic. Fading away. Don't worry about the mistakes. Just kind of plow through. I've got tons of mistakes on this drawing, but It's just good practice, and if you think of it that way, it's going to help you a lot. So look, I'm not doing tone, I'm doing diagonal pencil strokes right over there, um, doing some line diversity. And so the reason why is because we've got some shape over here, we've got some line, and over here it's really tonal. So now let me just start all over again, and let's just work down. Can I ask, why do you recommend drawing statues and not just real life people? I recommend doing both, but I've just had, Catalina, a lot of good experiences with drawing with students, as well as just drawing by myself at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Um, and so, in essence, you had a sculptor who took a very long time to figure out their sculpture: gestural, pose, light and shade, texture, form, hair design, all of these different things. So you're starting at an advantage if you're drawing somebody else's statue that is already proven. And if it's in the Met, it is proving to be a beautiful piece of art. And it's nice to draw this beautiful piece of art that somebody's already given so much time and attention to. And so that is part of the reason why I like to draw statues. And it's a very traditional way of drawing, because that's how a lot of students learned back in the day, is they would draw from casts before they were allowed to draw from like a live model. Yes, and so it's that too. I'm going to get rid of this outline. It's very heavy. Just going to lighten some of this stuff. Totally. Um, Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Chris. Okay. Let's see. We've been at this. Oh my God, we've almost been at this for 2 freaking hours. Uh, I like the torso much better than the face. I need to work on the face. Okay. Um, yeah, a lot of straight lines. It's very heavy. Let me zoom in, and let me zoom in because I need to lower this freaking drawing because it's too far away from me. And I think I need to stand up soon. My butt is killing me, people. Holy shit. I've been sitting for 2 hours. I think I stood up for like a split second. And I think I do need to stand up because I need to look at this disaster from far away. Or a different way for me to say that is, I just need to reset my eyes and look at something different, because I've been looking at this for, let's say, like an hour now, and I kind of need to reset my eyes. So just give me a second. I just want to stand up for a second. I'll be right back. All right, now, okay, good. There's my pencil. Okay, we need to make this thing happen here. Reset of the eye. So the one thing I did not capture, now that I come back and I look at it right off the bat, is there's like this motion, this gestural connection line over here with the hair. And it's starting here at the edge of the forehead, and this statue's hair curves up right there. And then we could pick up that curve here. And that is very important that you always go across with that gestural thing. And then even here, it's like a curve of the bottom of the hair. And then on the other side of the statue, the hair blends in with the skin a little bit, but there still is a curve here. And you could, emphasize that curve. Now, my outline is very stiff, very stiff. And technically, I think I could go like a little. Look at this outline. How much? Oh, you can't see that because I'm zoomed in. But my torso outline is so much more relaxed. And okay, so this is not descriptive enough. Now I need to get a razor blade so I can cut my mono zero. So just bear with me while I get that. I follow this person on. One second. God. Okay. Gee whiz. I follow this person on YouTube, and she does these drawings for like a gazillion hours. They're these big head drawings. I don't know their name. I forgot. And they draw this like realistic hair, and I don't know how they do it. They're using this. They must go through these mono zero erasers. Like they must have stock in mono zero because they're constantly making the mono zero have like a point. And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I love their drawings. They're absolutely beautiful. But my God, they're working for hours upon hours upon hours with the mono zero, erasing out strands of hair. It's crazy. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Okay. And softer. So this right here is curving up. Curving up. We've got a little light over here. And light over here. And the forehead, there's a lot of weird values on the face. The forehead's like a little bit darker than the cheekbone, and usually that's the opposite, but it's because the statue's head is kind of looking down. And there's a little light right here, just a little. Don't press down too hard on that eraser. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this monstrosity, and I just want to push into this because I want to erase out a little bit there. And I'm just really trying to curve everything right now and soften some edges because these edges are so hard. And that is why this statue is not looking that feminine, because there's a lot of hard edges. Again, I'm not into like the stereotypical thing because I've seen a lot of female models that come into my classroom and pose, and they're so athletic. There's nothing round about them. They're just really chiseled. Yeah, this is taking a little bit longer. Monstrosity. Okay, so John Doe, when you have students do these kinds of exercise, what is a common mistake you see in beginners, and what is a mistake you see trip up even the most skilled students? Okay, so just some context. I'm being real with you, and what you have to understand is that I teach in the animation department at the School of Visual Arts, and in the animation department, I teach right now 3 classes. So I teach a foundation drawing class to first year students, and it's 15 weeks in the fall and 15 weeks in the spring. And then I teach an advanced life drawing class to fourth year students. And then I teach a perspective slash backgrounds class to second year students. And in none of the classes do I have the students do this type of drawing, because we just don't do this in the animation department. What the animation department is much, much more focused on is short duration movement style drawings. And so this style of drawing and this style of teaching would not fly in the animation department, because the animation students are not into this style of drawing. Some of them might be, but the majority are not. Okay, and so I don't remember, John, the last time I did a tutorial like this in the classroom. I'll do lessons that in the classroom that are much, 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 much shorter. I'm teaching the same thing, but it's shorter, and all of this is involving shorter duration drawings. Like the longest drawing as of late that we've done in the classroom is like a 40, and that is very rare, and it's in the afternoon after lunch when I am checking homework. Now, on my drawing tutorial online side of the equation, I have my Zoom lesson, and so those students do these longer duration drawings. And so to answer your question specifically, what is a common mistake you see with beginners? The most common mistake that I see with beginners is they do not shade in a solid sort of way. And their shading looks like this chaos. That is the biggest mistake that I see students do when they're shading, and when we do this week we're doing light and shade in class. So I see this, I don't see that, and nor do I see that, and that's the biggest mistake. And a mistake that I see trip up even the most skilled students, that is not drawing in the middle of the body, but just doing an outline on the body and outline in the body 100%. So I have fourth year students, and I love them all to death, and they're really good. But I do need to remind them, hey, you need to draw in the middle of the body. You're only focused in on the edge of the body, the outline, and that's no good. So those are two of the most common mistakes that I see. I know that was a long-winded answer, but yeah. All right, so this eye socket is tiny, and it's very tiny. So how tiny is it? It is 3/16 of an inch tall, which is tiny. And my mono zero is a big jumbled mess right now. So I'm going to sharpen it one more time because I need to get that lower eyelid light in there. And I'll try. I'll try without getting my head in the image here in the video screen. So I sharpen this sucker really good, and I'm gonna try to move a little bit closer and lower eyelid. Upper eyelid. It's reflection coming from the breast up, the chest plate. That's what's happening. You don't really get light. You don't want to do stuff like that because it's shadow. But there's a lot of light bouncing up. And this side, the lower eyelid also, and this side's going to be tough. It's not a light over there. It's just a subtle light in the lower eyelid. So I'll erase that out a little bit, and then I'll smudge it again to put it back in its shadow place. So it's a really subtle value shift in the shadow. So we don't want to make that light in the shadow because that's a beginner's mistake, right? We want to keep repeating this mantra. We're going to keep our lights light, and we're going to keep our shadows shadowy. And when you repeat that mantra, you remind yourself of what you should be doing. So yeah, take it for what it's worth. Okay, so we're 2 hours and 5 minutes into this thing. I'll work on it for a little bit longer. I figured Matt must be teaching that. That's why Justine is so good. Justine. Oh, yeah, Justine. Oh, well, okay. Justine came to the school already gifted. And so I just introduced some new techniques to Justine, and Justine ran with them. But yeah, Justine is awesome. Getting rid of the light on the brow. So yeah, and that straight line under the nose is no good. It's too dark. And I need to put like a little tone over here. So, truth be told, this would take me hours to draw this face. It's really tiny and wouldn't be user-friendly to draw this face this small. I could do it. It's just I need to block out the time to do it. And you see now I'm trying my very best to get into these like little subtleties. And I would do this after the live stream. Because, like, look, my head is not in the screen. My head needs to be in closer to this face to get this correct. It's not an excuse. It's just, it is what it is. I'm very far away, and this is a very small head, and you need to get up close. I was talking about this on Friday with my students. We were talking about how to paint texture. I gave them a crash course digitally on how to paint texture, and basically you just need to use a smaller brush to get those textures. First you need to block in what you were painting, and then you need to use a smaller brush. That was fun, actually. I'm just trying to right now do a quick representation of this face. It's not easy. And don't use a black straight outline for the center of the lips. Just suggest. Yeah, so all this, just takes time. It just takes time. You've got to be patient, and this has got to be fun for you, because I've taught so many different students over the years, and this is not fun for a lot of students, and for other students, doing the short duration drawings is not fun. So it's there's two ways to think about that. One is that I think it's valuable to get out of your comfort zone and try different things, and number two, this is contradictory but still relates. I think it's also very, very important to know what you want to do and what makes you happy. So you could understand that you hate to do short duration gesture poses, but simultaneously, it's really good for you to get out of your comfort zone, and vice versa. How we doing, people? Okay, this is from Cynthia. What's the best way to control pencil pressure when so it feels more gradual? Okay. Uh, let's see. So, Cynthia, you should practice this. I've got this older pencil here. So, you should practice gradation. So, but hold the pencil the way that you normally would. I'm just trying not to ruin this point on my other pencil. So, dark, dark midtone, midtone, light midtone, light. That's a very important thing. Then do it again. Dark, but be more solid. Dark, dark midtone, midtone, solid shading. Now live here, Cynthia. Live in the lights and practice doing this where you are not pressing down hard, but you are putting down value. And then go darker in the dark. Solid. You need to do that. Okay? Absolutely. Let's see, this nose. This straight line is killing it. It's killing the nose. So we're going to have it curve in. Plus the nose is huge. Need to make it look smaller. These are subtle value shifts. Again, I don't know how interesting this is for you to watch me do this, but I'm just trying to get a little bit more femininity into the face. There's also a light on the other side of the nostril lobe. Yeah, God, this is so small. Okay, it's Monday morning, and I decided to draw the smallest face possible. Isn't that great? It's good practice, though. And corner of the lips. John Doe, I was once told that cast shadows are usually harder than form shadows on the human figure. Only any truth to that? Um, so this is John. I'll go back to the scrap piece of paper. Let's see. So if I let's just use the ball thing. Okay, if I have like a little ball and the light's coming this way, and I shade the ball and I just block it in, that's the shadow. And now I've got my cast shadow. The cast shadow is harder closer to the object that's throwing it, and then as the cast shadow goes away, from the object that's throwing the cast shadow. The edges of the cast shadow get softer, and the edges of the cast shadow closest to the object that is throwing the cast shadow is harder. So harder close to the object, softer further away. And if you look at my pencil eraser on the paper, the cast shadow gets lighter and softer as it goes away, as darker closer to the eraser. Hope that made sense. Yeah. Monday afternoon here. Where are you, Chris? Okay, so I think I'm gonna draw till like 1:30, and then I'm gonna call this live stream done. Right now it is 1:15, so I hope you've gotten some value from this here today. I'm gonna zoom back out, and so you can see the whole drawing, because it's not necessarily a portrait tutorial, but I'm getting caught up in doing a portrait tutorial right now. And you know, if I'm gonna do a portrait tutorial, doing a portrait lesson on a 1-inch tall head is ridiculous. So I'm going to go back, and we're just going to kind of recap some of the main points of this lesson here today on YouTube. So basically, regardless of whether or not the drawing's correct, not correct, feminine, not feminine, what I want you to take away from this lesson here today is that you should use light and shade in your artwork, because it's just going to make your drawings look that much more dynamic. It's also going to help you immensely in seeing the shapes of the pose versus not using light and shade and just using line. I think it's just so much more difficult to see the pose quickly just when you draw with line. Now, can this be accomplished? Yes, it can. Is it a little bit more difficult? Yes. And the other thing is that you see now what I'm doing. I'm starting to add like a black outline or dark outline. What that does now is that just gives like a little bit more value, diversity to your drawing. So your drawing is not too dark or too light. And that's another benefit of working with tone. Does anybody in Bermuda? Oh wow, that's cool. I never been. Does anybody have any questions in the remaining 13 minutes that we have left here that I could help you with before this live stream gets put to bed and I go eat lunch? So now I'm just kind of refining, and it's starting to become like a little bit more of a long drawing now. So yeah, but I do like the bottom, how it feels like a little bit more unfinished, and so this is like a really cool thing for you to try to do. I'm also, what am I doing right now? I'm really desperately trying to get rid of all the freaking lines that I put down that look straight. Because straight is stiff, and I don't want a stiff drawing, even if it's a demo drawing. But it's pretty stiff right now. Now, you can argue, Matt, you're drawing a marble statue. Isn't that stiff? Yes, sure. Yeah. Do these exercises translate into lighting from imagination? Yes. Now, I'll be teaching lighting this week with my students. So what we do is I talk about like 5 different types of light sources, and we draw them all out. And that's another lesson for another day. But that's a huge lesson because I even teach that like in my backgrounds class, perspective into backgrounds. I talk to the students about using light all the time. And so, yeah, it it's nice to understand like a bunch of different light sources and to be able to draw them out of your imagination. Catalina, how often would you recommend we should do one of these long practices? I tend to go faster for anatomy studies. So I think, Catalina, it's up to the individual and what your goals are. So for me, coming from an illustration background where the book covers that I used to paint back in the 90s and early 2000s took days, not hours. Some book covers would take me 10 days to paint. And so for me, doing this is just a part of my past. And so I was always focused in on long versus short. So a lot of this has to do with the hierarchy of what you want to do with your art, quote unquote, career. And it's also a different way to answer that question is you can also just want to be like a well-rounded artist. Like I do have a lot of students who despise doing this sort of work. These long drawings like this, like they despise it. And I try my very best to get them to get into the mindset of being like a little bit more of a balanced artist where you do both short and long. And because you could very quickly become like a one-hit wonder. And I see that with the gestural side of things where you could, it works both ways. It works both ways. So if you are just into doing gestural style 2-minute, 3-minute style poses, and then you're asked to do something longer and you can't even begin to do something longer, like that's not good. And then vice versa, like if you only could do a drawing that is like 50 hours, but then we try to ask you to draw something out of your imagination or adjust your drawing and you crash and burn, like that's no good either. So I think it's important to be a little bit more well-rounded. I hope that answered your question. So it's so Catalina, you just need to make that call, and it's really about being a well-rounded artist. Chris, I live on Eastern Long Island. Long Island is part of the state New York, which I would love to move out of New York, but right now I cannot. This is from Fabrizio Condori. I've have seen some artists drawing first a layer of medium tone and then erasing and starting making the light sources instead of drawing the shadows. I think that's good, Fabrizio. I think that's very good. That's a style of drawing and painting called pulling out the lights, and everybody should experience that technique. I did that. I used to do that. I never really like starting pulling out the lights, although I understand it. And it's just a different way to get your brain to think about what you're drawing. That's all. It's the same thing we're doing here. So it like just think of it as another style of practice, Fabrizio. And so Cynthia, what is the most effective way to study light and shade when drawing from master copies? Cynthia, it is 1,000%. This is just my opinion. You take it for what it's worth. It's 1,000%. Thinking about the values and simplifying the value structure and matching the values and drawing solid shadow shapes. It's that, Cynthia. Yep. Yeah, only 1 hour ahead. Not bad. So I'm just going over this line a little bit, thickening it up, but not pressing down as hard as I can. And then just having it drift away. I'm going to work on this drawing after the live stream a little bit, after I get some food in my stomach, and maybe reset my eyes. And then what I'll do is I'll post it to my posts here on YouTube, and I will post it to my Instagram. Now, I've been talking for almost 2.5 hours, and so I'm going to give myself a little plug here. And if you are interested, because you've been watching me draw, nobody's looking at your artwork. If you are interested in having me look at your artwork and critique it, an empathetic critique, not an idiot critique where I'm bashing your artwork and saying this, that, and the other thing, but actually helping you, check out Drawing Tutorials online, and you could sign up for a membership there, and you can upload your artwork to my website's critique gallery with other members, and I literally download your artwork and I draw on top of it, and I talk to you about things you can do to improve faster. You can improve fast by asking me questions here on YouTube, and you can improve fast by watching me. But hyperspeed of improvement, if you're tired of watching artists on YouTube and you feel as though you're not improving fast enough, what you're missing is a teacher that has experience and knows what to help you with sooner rather than later by looking at your artwork and just knowing immediately what you need help with. So that's where I come in, and if you're interested in something like that, maybe check out signing up to my website for a couple of months. And yeah, there's no obligation to stay. Just you can sign up for a month. I've had people members of my site for 10 years. I've had people members of my site for 10 months, and I've had people become a member of my website and stay for 10 days. Everybody's different. And you're going to connect with different artists, teachers in different ways. And then the other option that I have for y'all is one-to-one coaching. And so if you're interested in that, that's a little bit more of an investment, but not a huge investment compared to some coaches who charge like astronomical prices for their coaching services. You can click on the link in the description and go to matthewarchambault.com, and you could see what I have to offer there. Yeah, but if you just want to sign up for a membership, just go to members.drawing-tutorials-online.com, and you can sign up today and start. You missed this week's critique. I'm going to critique today, but yeah, you can get into next week's critique. All right. I think that's all I got for you here today, people. Let me just look at the chat. To make the drawing more realistic, can you do a dark background? I find with pencil, a dark background is brutal, but I find with paint, a dark background is much easier. And yeah, I think what that dark background does, Fabricio, is it just creates for a striking skin tone if you're doing a nude. So if you're doing a nude that has light skin and you do a dark background, it's just going to really stand out, your painting, and it's going to pop. And so, yeah, there's a time and a place for a dark background, no doubt. Okay, a couple minutes left. I want to thank you all for joining me here today. I hope you learned something from today's live stream. And definitely give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you're new to my channel, definitely... John, thank you so much for that super chat. That was really kind of you. Yeah, wow, John, awesome, awesome. Now, John, listen to me. If at the end of this video, in the regular comment section under the video, tell me anything. I mean, I do have my content schedule for YouTube for the next fall semester here. But if there's anything that you want me to talk about, that would be really, really, really good. I can incorporate what you've asked me to teach you into the next class, even though I kind of have all the content like figured out. So yeah, let me know, John. You can send me an email and say, Matt, could you please teach A, B, and C in the next live stream? And I could do that for you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Lots of things wrong with this drawing, but it's all good. It's all good. So all tone with the brush, a little bit more painterly. Tone without the brush, a little looser, and just line, much looser. So you've got to do all three, in my opinion. Take that for what it's worth. Nico Donati, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Nico. All right, let me get out of this drawing here, and let me go to a different screen so I can talk to you face-to-face here. Yes, okay. So this is my little sketch, and I have a couple of beautiful drawings of this statue. How do I show this to you? Gee whiz. Needs work. Needs work. It needs a lot of work, for Pete's sakes. So, yeah, thank you so much. And I appreciate you all joining me. John, thank you so much. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Nico, thank you. Chris, I appreciate you joining me from Bermuda, you said. Cynthia, thank you. Nocturne C, thank you. Bahrani, appreciate you joining me. And why am I forgetting? So what we're doing next week, why am I forgetting that? So basically what I do in my classroom is I teach this, but way more in depth than what I'm teaching you here on YouTube. And then we do like a lot of exercises with the live model. And then next week, we just expand on this like a little bit more. Catalina, thank you so much. Jake, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow in our Zoom class on DTO. And I saw your image on in the critique gallery, and you did like that Carl Brender's painting. Oh my God. I think like right off the bat, when I just glanced at the thumbnail, Jake, the background needs to be a little bit more solid than the two wolves that you drew. Chris, thank you. Rock Flowers Cats, thank you. But yeah, no worries, Jake. I'll definitely critique it. It's either going to be a critique later today or tomorrow. It'll be posted tomorrow. Yeah, you too, everybody. Have a great day. I appreciate you joining me. Thanks for the thumbs up. And John Doe, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Please leave a comment on anything specifically that you need my help with, and I'll definitely include that in next week's class. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, okay?